Welcome to our Spain Poco a Poco. Hi, Gaetano. How's it going?
It's going bueno, Tanya. Et
Bueno,
tu?
bueno, bueno. Very
Bueno,
good.
bueno.
Bueno,
Good.
bueno. Nutella, Nutella. Today we are going to talk about the Catedral de Santa Maria de Valencia, also known to us as the Valencia Cathedral, or to Spanish as plain up Catedral de Valencia.
There you go.
And we'll probably just call it the Valencia Cathedral from now on, just to keep it simple.
Right. But I've also heard locals call it La Su, which means the sea, as in the Holy
Yeah.
See, since this would be the seat of the
Right.
Vatican in
Seu, maybe?
Valencia.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't know that because I don't know anything. Well, I don't know much about the Catholic Church. So thank you for bringing that to the table.
I did my
knowledge.
time. I did my time in Catholic school.
I did my time in Protestant church. So yeah, I don't know about these things.
The scars are the same, just
They
the
pretty
meaning's
much
a little
are.
different. Yeah.
I think so. But our knowledge base differs slightly. But this
Bit,
is
yes.
as much as I absolutely love visiting cathedrals and churches, and this one is no different. It is lovely and is in a beautiful part of the old part of Valencia, and it's gorgeous.
In a past episode, I think we were talking about our summer travels and stuff in these grand cathedrals, and I have to say I'm sorry to the Valencia Cathedral because I think I had stated before that I wasn't impressed with it.
Oh,
And
uh-oh.
because it's not like our other cathedrals in Spain. It's not big and grand and gaudy with, 20-story ceilings and huge statuaries and huge what are those things called, sarcophaguses around. It's not like that, and it's much more austere and simple. And I went to it recently. Our friend was in town and we just were walking by. I was like, well, let's go in, because he hadn't seen the Holy Grail, which we'll get into. But I walked into it and I was like, I have a newfound love for this church because it isn't like all the others. I wanted us to fit in. And now I really
Right.
love the individualism of the Valencia Cathedral, that it's calmer. It's awe-inspiring in a completely different way, right? It's not like money was
Yeah.
just thrown at it repeatedly,
Well, I do think money was thrown at it repeatedly, as we'll get into. But one of the things which I agree with you is that it is kind of built in to these other buildings and stuff. It's not one of these cathedrals that takes up all this space and you can see it from miles. I mean, you can see it from miles, but you don't walk across and see this massive building and all this stuff. So it is kind of built in a way that cathedrals are not often built into cities, I think. So it
Right.
doesn't give you, you're right, you don't have that big impression when you get there, but it is a big building that has many architectural styles in it, which we'll get into. From it has Roman, Visigothic, Islamic, Christian. I mean, they just kept building, and that's
Exactly.
interesting.
It's very added on, right?
Mhm.
A lot of
They
additions.
added on.
So it also doesn't have that traditional shape many cathedrals have. Like
It
most of the
doesn't.
cathedrals you go to,
Yeah.
there was an original plan. Granted, things change and they may change the style and decoration, but there's this like kind of cross shape, and you know what you're getting. Two towers in the front. You don't have that here,
No. So
right?
you just got this one tower, but you can be walking around and not be seeing it, kind of.
Right. You
Which
can
is, I
totally
think,
miss
what
it.
you're kind of getting at, is that it doesn't take up this massive amount of space that a lot of cathedrals do, that, and then you can walk around it. I mean, in England, I'm thinking of these big cathedrals and stuff. I mean, they have grass around them. You can walk around them. They're enormous. It's going to take you 10,
Right.
15 minutes to walk around the building. I mean, it's just enormous. And this is just kind of tucked in. It's cute.
Right. And it's like I said, it's not tall either. So even the plazas that surround it, it doesn't overtake the plaza. Like
No.
you go to the Granada Cathedral. I mean, that thing is tall. I don't know, 20 stories tall. That thing's huge. And you walk in, you're like, this thing towers. This is
Yeah.
just, it is set off. And you're like, you can miss it. And I kind of now like it. Now I have a love for it. And
There you go.
this was the first time I actually really toured it too, which we'll get into.
Yeah, and I haven't toured the inside, so you'll give your knowledge on that. I've walked up and down the tower several times now. But what's interesting about the cathedral here is that it has been a sacred site for a long time, but for different like eras of religion and everything. So it has, like we were saying before, it's been layered over and over. And you will see archaeologically beneath today's cathedrals are layers from the Roman Forum and Temple, and a Visigothic episcopal complex, and a great mosque. And then when King Jaime I from Aragon entered Valencia in 1238, the mosque was immediately consecrated as a Christian church. But for several decades, the Christians were worshipping inside the former mosque before constructing a more traditional, like, Catholic cathedral, right? So you kind of
Hmm.
have this, and you see that a few times in Spain in different places. I think
Right.
this sort of combination, which I find absolutely fascinating, and you've experienced some of that in different parts of Spain, I think.
Yeah, like Cordoba has the
Yeah,
cathedral that's actually was built in the middle of the mosque, which was
right.
we've talked about that. I don't know how they did it, but they did it.
But they did it.
And
It's one way to do it too. So this combination of all these things is not, that's not necessarily unique, but obviously each one is unique in its own way, as is the beautiful Valencia Cathedral.
and so the building of the cathedral, as we said, we were using the mosque, but attitudes came in, and so
Mm-hmm.
in 1262 is when the construction of the cathedral began under Jaime or James the First, and it's really a product of many rulers in many centuries. There's Gothic models from Catalonia and southern France. It's light focus. It is very restrained and
In light, you mean it's restrained
in light.
in how much? Yeah, because it is this building, as we've said, that's kind of tucked in, so it doesn't have these massive
Well, it
light.
doesn't have the massive stained glass,
Yeah.
and it is a lower ceiling compared to many other
Mm.
cathedrals, right? And it is a gray stone throughout the thing, right? But it's a very light gray stone, which we'll get into because they refurbished it at some point. But
Again.
but during Valencia's golden age, on Alfonso the Magnanimous, in the 15th century, he supported uh, upgrades that was
Making more elaborate a little bit.
making things more elaborate. Yes,
Everyone has to put their mark on. I mean, this doesn't
yes.
change, right? I mean, we're seeing a lot of that now. Like, everyone's got to put
Yeah,
their mark on
yeah,
things.
they got to put their names on things they
Yeah,
don't
and the
belong.
mark,
But here we
right? So
go.
it's important. And a few hundred years later, we're talking about somebody that did that. So, yeah, and
Right,
and
and then the Renaissance chapels were added,
hmm
and as those humanistic ideas were spreading around Europe.
right. And then you have the 17th and 18th centuries where the Baroque architects come in and they start reshaping some of the facades and interiors to match their counter Reformation ideals. So it's very, you've got a lot going on there. I'm assuming they
Hmm.
also have an audio tour. Did you do that?
I did not do the audio
But they have
tour.
it, right?
They do have one,
Okay.
yes. Right
Yeah.
when once you pay, you walk in there, and you go
Yeah.
to your left. They've got the audio tour, and so I did not do that.
Yeah.
What this time? I had been to the cathedral before, but it was to run in to see the Holy Grail.
Mhm.
This time we walked around, and there is a side off the cathedral that many stairs and elevator, and they actually take you down under. You can go underneath, and you see the different elements from the
Oh,
past. You
that's
see
very
ruins
nice.
from the Islamic times and the other, and there's
Yeah.
bones and things down there as well.
Okay.
We love some bones in this house. We
Yeah,
love
we've
we
talked
love
about
some
this before.
catacombs, and yes.
I mean, it's nice that it's all there to see, that it wasn't just,
Hmm.
either destroyed or built over so that you can't see it. And the other thing that's interesting is, I mean, I one of the things I love about walking around Valencia and around Spain is doors. And not just of
Hmm.
cathedrals, but in general. We got some beautiful doors around here when you're walking in,
Yes.
wow, entryways, really. And the
Yes.
cathedral is, no different.
Right.
So,
There are
yeah,
gorgeous ones.
gorgeous doors. So there's the Puerta de Palau, and that is a Romanesque, thick walls, round arches, and that was built very soon after the conquest when Christian rulers still feared instability. So I don't know, not sure how that relates to the doors, but you got to have something big and strong in order to make sure that nothing
Well, in
gets
case
destroyed.
the right, in case the Islamics, the Islamic world or rulers came
Right,
back,
came
they're
back.
gonna have a hard time tearing down those doors
Yep.
and the arches around them.
Yes,
And then
exactly.
there's the Puerta de los Apostles, which is on the Plaza de la Virgen side, which is not the doors you enter through, but the doors that face the other plaza.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about that, this is where the Tribunal de las Aguas meets every Thursday at noon.
Mm-hmm.
And this has been going on for, I think, 1,000 years. And this began during Islamic Valencia, when water law was vital to survival.
Still probably is, but they still meet every Thursday, which I love, and they have a
Mm-hmm.
proper meeting, and any laws or rules all run through that meeting, and they do it on the door outside the doors there, so you can go, observe
You can
that.
watch them fight over water rights.
Exactly.
Yes.
I think that's really cool that they're still doing that, which is amazing.
That is cool.
So you mentioned how you can see like some of the Roman ruins and things, or they're still part of the cathedral when you go downstairs. And it sounds like they also maybe reuse some of those stones in various parts. That would probably require an audio tour to really understand that. But we talked a little before about how I felt like the cathedral's kind of nestled in the center of Valencia, which I kind of like about it. And part of this is because it is still part of the irregular kind of street patterns that are typical of Islamic Medinas. So you do have this kind of you do have these big plazas on either side of it, but between that are all these beautiful little streets that you can go through.
Very windy little narrow streets,
and that's
romantically narrow.
Yes. So you don't kind of walk around the church in a traditional way. You kind of curl your way around to get to the other plaza. Like you might even need a map to figure out how to get to the other side of the church.
It's a very narrow passage between the two plazas.
Yeah, it's cute.
From the La Reina to La Virgin. So, and the other thing we were talking about, how the church doesn't match like the traditional grids. It's because it was built from an original mosque. So they were adding on to that. And it's when the next topic is we'll talk about this Holy Grail, which we've mentioned a couple times, so we should probably talk about it. The chapel that it's in, like a lot of cathedrals you go to, the chapels are like around and off to the side. At this cathedral, it's like a separate church. Like it's like you go way off to the side into it, right? It's like it feels like it's a separate building that's connected.
Oh, interesting.
Versus being part of the structure.
I wonder if
it was. Like it was intentional. It has to have been added on.
It's added on instead of putting it in the middle of the other one, like you said.
Yes.
So you've seen the Holy Grail. I love that it's there. Well, one of them is there, or whatever that is, and you've actually seen it. So describe.
I have seen it. So it is. I will say the chapel it's in is very beautiful, and in its austerity. And there's some like frescoes on the wall where they had, where you could tell they had been peeling back layers that had been added on and showing you what was there before. But it is high up on this wall. You can't get that close to it.
That's probably a good thing.
It's very gilded, so the light reflects. So it's hard to actually see it, to be honest, because there's this the Holy Grail is just the agate cup, and then in sometime in the 15th century, someone, I think it was the 15th century, I don't know when, but someone decided that the thing needed to be in gilding. So it's on this big stand and stuff. Like Jesus wasn't walking around with this, this golden chalice. Yeah,
not as it is now.
No. It was just a cup, etched out of, carved out of stone, right?
That makes more sense, yes.
So it's very gilded and it's up there, but it is impressive to see, and also because it is one of the ones that two popes have recognized as being the true Holy Grail and have used it in masses. And
maybe because it's more simple and it makes more sense that perhaps it could be the original. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you took the stand it's off, it could look simple.
Oh my goodness. Well, it sounds like something worth seeing, even if it's a little far away to really get up close.
I mean, for any Monty Python fan, you have to come to Valencia to see it.
Yeah, this is true. Or Indiana Jones, I guess. Wasn't he searching for the Holy Grail as well?
Was he?
I felt like one of those old movies.
Indiana Jones and the Holy Grail? I don't know. I don't remember all those movies.
Well, anyway, it was something that was missing.
Is that like Romancing the Stone? That was another one.
Oh, maybe it was Romancing the Stone. Either way, it was lost. Anyway, we found it. It's here.
We found it. It's here. Maybe another Poco will do the Holy Grail, the whole history of what it is.
Right.
Yeah. Not today, kids. Okay, so we've talked about the cathedral
Mm-hmm.
and all of that stuff, which I've seen. Now you've done the thing that I haven't done because I'm not going to do it, which is the bell tower,
Why are
the
you
El
not going to
Micalet,
do it?
because it sounds terrifyingly stressful, and you're going to explain why. Because you've explained it to me over lunch one day, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Well, I will say it is 200 steps up, and the view from up there is well worth it. I will say for myself, I've done it. It's one of those things that I've had to do now, I think 2 or 3 times with friends that have come to visit.
Okay.
And it's, we've had people stay at the bottom that didn't want to do it, but it's beautiful up there. And they're open from 10 a.m. to 6:45 daily. So if you go towards the end of the day, and if you're at a time of year when the sun's starting to go down at that time,
Mm-hmm.
if you can schedule your whole year around it,
Okay.
that is a really nice time to be up there. You can see the whole of Valencia,
But you
360
want to go at
degrees.
dusk and see sunsets
I
and
think it was nice.
sky colors.
Yeah,
So about this time of year would be perfect. By the way,
exactly.
we're speaking in February-ish
Yeah, and
right now.
frankly, it's 207 steps, and there's a lot of people going up and down. I wouldn't be doing that in July or August
No,
because
no,
not
no,
only is it
no.
you're gonna be hot, everyone else is hot, and we know what that leads to. Stinky.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would do. I would do it more in the winter, but it's you can see everything from up there. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's quite a large space, and it's got it's safe, so you can take younger children up there. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to worry about it. And they have little traffic lights going on up there, so they try to limit how many people are on the stairs because it is just a windy stairs going up and up and up and up, and then when you think you're halfway
Yeah,
there,
but I think it's.
more.
I mean, what I won't do is because I hear they're kind of claustrophobic. That's why they have a traffic light, right? Like people can't be
No,
passing each
you
other,
can pass
right?
each other. I think the reason why they have the traffic light is because you can't continuously have people passing each other. They have these little windows around and about as you go up, like that are just
Mm-hmm.
holes in the wall. And so people sometimes stop to look, and you can pass people that are doing that. But if you had people also coming in the other direction, it would start to get very jammed. So what they're trying to do is just not make it jammed. You could theoretically have people going up and people going down, but that wouldn't really be that pleasant because also the steps, because it's a spiral, they're thinner on one side and thicker on the other. So
Right,
really everybody wants to be on the thicker side, on the wider side. So
right.
the traffic lights are managing the amount of people coming up
The
and down
flow, and so there's not injuries, and
so that it's a more pleasant experience because it is quite a long way. So they're just trying to make it a more pleasant experience, and I will say it works. And it only costs €3 to go up, and I would highly recommend it if you feel like it. Beautiful.
now, since you bring up that is a travel tip of the
Mm-hmm.
cathedral is the tower does not get you into the cathedral,
No,
and the cathedral does not get you into
which
the
is
tower.
why I've done the tower several times, but never been into the cathedral.
Well, pro tip for you. So
Mm-hmm.
I had not gone into the cathedral before. Now, we had seen the Holy Grail when friends were visiting before because if you time it right and there's a mass going on, you just sneak in for the mass and you don't pay the entrance
I don't
fee.
think you should be sharing that kind of information. I think it's fair enough to pay like €1
It's not a euro, it's 9, 10 euros. It's a lot of
to go
money.
into the cathedral.
Yeah, to go into the
Oh, wow.
cathedral. But what I found out this time, because my friend who was visiting this time said, should I want to go see the Holy Grail? I'm like, well, for 10 euros, I'm not going in. Well, this time I read the sign, and Valencia residents get in for €1. So I was like, well, I'll get in for €1. But you're still paying the 9 because I'm not.
Well, because we have to go multiple times with all our tourist friends, so it makes sense that we get in for cheaper. I
Mm-hmm.
like that.
And that is in a lot of places. To a lot of these churches and things will
Yeah.
have a Valencia resident. So people who are living here, don't remember to use your Valencia resident card because you
Hmm.
are a resident.
And as
You do
anyone
get the
that
benefit.
knows my favorite place, the zoo, also a very good deal if you're a resident here because you get for the same price for one day, you get the whole year and you can go back as many
Right,
times as you want.
right.
Probably one of the best resident like ones that I've found, but yeah, you should definitely look. And also, it like again, even if you're going with friends and stuff, there's no reason not to get it for a little bit less. I'm
Exactly.
a fan.
And also you can go and for the mass because I've also heard I haven't gone yet, but I have friends that have told me that there is a Saturday Mass with a children's
Oh,
choir
that'd be
that
lovely.
is well worth going to see because they said it's just beautiful to hear the children sing. So I
Oh, I
was
love
thinking about
that.
taking my kids to that. So, you can go to the Mass and get your Holy Grail sighting in as
I
well.
would probably do that.
Um,
I'm going up to Barcelona to see a friend's daughter sing in the choir in one of the cathedrals there. So
oh,
I'm a
nice.
fan of that. Makes it more fun.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of actually going to mass, but like a
Well,
Christmas carol service or something like that, I think is kind of fun.
it's funny. My children and I had brought that up. We're not a religious family, but my daughters, because of that, don't know much about religion because I didn't put them through the Catholic school
Right.
experience. And but I was like, you know what, kids, we do need to go to a mass, but I need to take them to a high theater mass with the robes and the hats and
Hmm.
the incense and the
Yeah, the
all of
whole
that because
thing.
they need to see the theater of it all, also to understand how the world works.
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of the problem of being brought up with a lot of religion and then not being in it is that you feel like, okay, I have a lot of knowledge base, which I love, but I don't want to
Right.
put my daughter through that just to get the knowledge base. But then how do you get the knowledge
Right.
base?
Right.
It's a little bit of an issue. Yes, I think it's good to know about these things.
It is good
Yeah,
because that's why the world is the way it is because
most
of
of
all
it.
these different things,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that's everything we know about the Valencia Cathedral. Do you have anything else?
For now, that's what I've
That's what
got.
we got.
That's what we got.
Okay.
Until the next
Till
time,
next
Tanya.
time. Bye.
Ciao.
Thank you for listening to Our Spain Poco a Poco. Since you love us so much, please do go on to our social media and follow us and like us and subscribe where you're listening because it really does help us to grow and stick around and do what we are very much enjoying doing.
And, give us a shout out on the social medias. Give us a comment on what you would like to hear us talk about. I mean, we like to hear ourselves speak, but we do want to make this, informative for our listeners.
Absolutely, yeah. You can comment on one of our posts or you can send us a message through our Spain Facebook page or Instagram. So we would love to hear from you.
Yes, we would. Till the next episode.
Bye.